This is John Costa, editor of Citizens Eye. As you know, Citizens Eye is moving down the road now of starting to get more out into the community and covering things like ward meetings and stuff. So we're very pleased to come along here tonight to the Spinney Hills Ward Community Ward meeting, and I'm joined by the two city councillors, Councillor Dawood and Councillor Aqbany. Good evening, gentlemen.
Good evening.
Can you explain a little bit about why you have ward meetings and what the purpose are? Maybe I can start with you, Councillor Dawood.
I think, first of all, I'd like to welcome Citizens Eye to the ward meeting, and I think it's very important that you've been involved in the process and you can see what actually goes on in these ward meetings. So thank you for coming. The purpose of these ward meetings is to engage with the community, and as you can see throughout the agenda, we had a number of agenda items ranging from community safety to antisocial problems, to prostitution problems, to funding for inner city football teams. So we have a range of problems that we deal with on a regular basis, and this is our time to engage with the community. And an example of the issue of the sex trade, sex workers, where the public demanded to know what had been done, what was going to happen in terms of the problems that they faced, and it's a vehicle for us to say, you asked and this is what we've done. Maybe it's not exactly 100%, but we're in the steps to get to where we want to be ideally.
So, Barney, can I ask you, it's interesting, we had a presentation from the Ansar group about how they'd used the £1,000 that you'd given them from the ward fund. And obviously we had quite an animated young man there, almost upset really that the amount of money he was asking for, maybe he wouldn't get it in total. But the Ansar lady made an interesting point, which is over 6 or 7 years of applying for funding, she'd almost worked out the fact that it wasn't about going to one pot of funding for one large amount. It was about like partnership working and reaching out across walls and stuff like that. Is that something that you would encourage?
Indeed, I think that's the way forward. I mean, what happens is the officers have also got information as to where else we can tap this sort of funding. Having said that, I think most of the groups actually involved or who participate in that come from so many wards as well. So there's that possibility of using other wards as well to participate and give something. So definitely, I think that's the way forward. Use the officers, let them explore other avenues, and take it from there.
Now, one thing I might say to both of you gentlemen really is, I was just explaining about community media and where we're trying to come from with Citizens Eye. It's not about good news, it's about positive news. And I think a lot of people will come along and say, this is an issue. And rather than coming along about a range of issues or almost to just maybe get involved in the process, they only come along when they've got a problem. Do you find it's quite frustrating when it's like that?
I think it's frustrating, but I think the fact of the matter is that they are here and it might be a single issue agenda that they have. And ward committees can be used as a focus of their single issue. Ideally, like the businessman that stood up said, I didn't know where you were, I didn't know why I wasn't invited. What we want everybody to come in, so they're not just here for their own particular issue, which is rightly so, but for the whole community. It makes us more accountable as well as elected members.
I think also you've got the situation where a lot of people, I always use the analogy of someone being in a meeting and someone says, has anybody got any questions? And then no one puts their hands up. And then someone puts their hands up and says, where's the toilet? And everyone goes, we'd love to know where the toilet was. Do you think it's a bit with a lot of these issues where when it affects certain people, they're very vocal, but there are other people that are affected by it, but maybe don't feel empowered or almost know how to go about either complaining or having a comment or getting involved? Do you think like something like this, if the word went out through something like, for example, this film on YouTube, it would demonstrate to other people they could actually have a voice and they would be listened to? And obviously you're empowered as our elected officials to do something about it.
No, I think that's a fair statement. We need to have more people engaged in the process and using different methods, and YouTube is one of those different methods, because what we have is mechanisms in place, and obviously there are still people not engaged in the process, so we need to constantly evaluate and review our communications with the public.
Well, what I'd like to do is certainly come along and maybe follow up the next meeting, which is in September, hopefully at Coleman Primary School. We'll certainly have the information on Citizens Eye and would welcome the opportunity to come along. So is that okay?
Lovely.
Thank you very much.
Thanks.